So you have done your market and product research correctly and you have found a winning product. However, you are not getting sales. Well, I'm here to share with you the one thing that's very commonly overlooked and really decreases everybody's sales. So if you want to know what that is and how to avoid this mistake, and you should, then let's get into it. Hey, my name is Karina. Welcome back to my Amazon FBA channel. I post daily videos, and today's video topic is very important because a lot of people overlook this and they think that just because they pass through it and don't put as much effort into this, that their product is still going to be successful, and unfortunately that is not the case. And I really emphasize this in so many videos, but I want to re-emphasize it and really point your attention to it. But before we get into it, please subscribe to my channel and click the notification bell because I post daily videos. And also check out beautiful New York City where I am at right now. Do you like the background change? I like the background change. Now this video and this particular topic is important for any seller, and literally everyone I do coaching calls with, not everyone, but most people get it wrong or they almost get it right. So I just want to clear the air and let you know how you're supposed to be doing it correctly. Let's assume that you have done your product and market research correctly. So you have found a product in a good market that's not oversaturated, that has low enough reviews where you can find a gap and get in there and create a better offer and sell the product, which is, by the way, what I teach in my Amazon FBA course. I teach you how to go from knowing nothing to finding your successful Amazon product, and literally everything you need to know in order to start getting sales when it comes to PPC, listing creation, finding products, just literally everything and more. But let's assume that that part is set, that you have found a product. Now, what is actually preventing you from getting the sales? Most of the time it's actually your listing creation, and people don't take this into account. There are two components that are very important for listing creation. One, of course, you have to optimize it to Amazon's algorithm, which means everything like the keywords, the backend keywords, the bullet points, the title, everything has to be packed with keywords in a way that's going to rank you for those keywords when you actually start getting sales. Because the only way you're going to be successful in this business model is if you get to page 1 for as many of these relatable keywords, key terms for your product as possible. Say there are 200. Most of the time, maybe 2 or 3 are going to be the major ones that are driving those sales. So if you get to page 1 for those, then you're getting a good large portion of sales. However, you want to rank for all the lesser ones that have a lesser search volume, but that's still going to bring you more sales, and you can also start slowly ranking for the lower words and then eventually get to ranking for the higher words. And how you do that is, of course, by listing optimization, which I teach everything, the whole entire thing in my course. And then the second part, of course, after you have the listing optimization, is you have to make sure that your listing is optimized for the customer themselves, okay? If it's only optimized for Amazon, which means if your listing is completely jam-packed with keywords and it literally makes no sense, when a customer gets to your listing and reads it, they're not going to understand it. It's just going to look spammy, like it's smashed with keywords. So you have to really space it out when you're packing in as many keywords as possible, but at the same time having it be very easy to read. So if a customer is looking for a product, they can read it flawlessly, they know what's included, and they know what the product is. It's not just mumbo jumbo, right? But that's the actual text part. What people typically overlook is the image part. And keep in mind, Amazon is all online, so a person cannot pick up your product, they can't feel it. All they have is photos, and when the photos is all they have, you have to really make sure that they are the best. And this is what frequently gets overlooked is product photography, and not necessarily photography. If you're in my course, you know I teach a lot of hacks on how to save money on actual product photography without even potentially to not do it, and get very effective ways to get your photos for very cheap but yet have them be the highest quality possible. And many people don't do that. They have low resolution images, they have low quality images, or they send it off to a photographer that takes good enough images if you're just looking at them from your cell phone, but when they're actually put up on a listing, they are very low compared to everything else. Think about this, okay? people are used to brands, people are used to really good high quality things, especially in the online world, because things are getting more competitive. So if you are not matching just your competition for those products, you are going to have a slim to none chance of succeeding with bad photos. And now, really honestly ask yourself this: why would somebody buy my product as opposed to everybody else's product? And you have to be honest with yourself about this, because yes, your product may be great, it might have a great bundle, it might be optimized, but if your photos are bad, chances are they're not as appealing as everyone else, and the customer is going to pick the one that looks the most appealing, which is probably not going to be your product if you don't put enough effort into your actual photography. And I really trying to stress this to you, and I want you just to take a step back, to look at your product, to compare it to everyone else, and honestly ask yourself, is my photo at least on the same level as the first sellers? And how do I take it to the next level? How do I make it better? Should I put it at a different angle? Should I kind of put it more saturated so you can see the detail? Should I put a shadow behind it? Again, you want to stand out. So if everyone has their photo tilted one way, maybe you can tilt it a different way. Maybe you can cast a shadow. Maybe you can put, you know, obviously if you have the bundle, put the main product and the bundle both in high resolution. Maybe put the package design in the back and then display your product in front of it. You want to do something that makes you look like you're offering the most value, and you want to portray that in the very first image that Amazon shows the customers, because when they type in the first key search term, literally they are spammed with 30 to 40 photos of a bunch of different products. And if you are a new time seller, you already have a lower chance just because you have slightly lower reviews than everyone else. But if your photo overpowers, then it kind of makes up for all those other components, such as not having sales history, not having as many reviews, and a lot of the time that's just going to overset things. So you don't even have to stress that much about reviews or about being like recently launched, anything like that, because a customer is very visual on Amazon. They're already looking to buy a product. They go in there, they check what's available to them, and they are attracted by the first photo. They look at the photo first, then they skim to the price and to the reviews. And if that's also within your market range and your photo just happens to be better than everybody else, which is what I stress in my Amazon course, of course, if you're in it, you know, then they're most likely going to click on it. So what happens when they click on it? When they click on the first photo, you really have to make sure that the rest of the ones that Amazon gives you, which is another 7 to 10 photos, are equally as amazing plus more. So you are limited with the first photo with Amazon's terms of service, when of course it needs to be within a certain like dimension. The product has to take up a certain space. It has to be on a white background. There can't be any writing or fonts on it. But the rest of the photos can be pretty much whatever, as long as it relates to your product. So you can do lifestyle photos, you can do infographics, you can just put a lot of detail in those photographs. So a customer will read through your photos. If you have text in them that explain clearly what the product is, the product from different images, the product used in a lifestyle setting, an actual human being holding the product, because people are attracted to people. So you want to actually show how your product is being used. And then after that, after they see, they're going to move on and look at the actual description, the bullets, all of that. If they want more info, they might go into and read the details, and that's where you really want to put in more of the info, what it's used for, what's included, the dimensions, although you should put the dimensions in the photo as well, just some numbers if your product has dimensions. But that's where you want to get more of the detail. You don't want to spam your photos with too much text, but you do want to have text in your photos, of course. But again, don't be all super spammy, just short infographics of why your product stands out. You want to make sure that you highlight everything that is amazing about your product and highlight the negatives in a light that says you do not have these negatives, right? So you read all the reviews, you find out what's wrong with the product, and you say our product doesn't have it. Of course, make sure that your product doesn't have these negative things, and then the customer will instantly be drawn to it because you have done your market research and you know what they are looking for. So really pay attention to your listing, really pay attention to your photos, because that's going to be the determining factor, one of the key components to why someone is actually going to purchase your product. So happy sales. All the links that I mentioned are down below. I will see you in my next daily video.